Hey, what's going on? Greg Rosner here. Welcome to the live discussion, the live masterclass, the live let's all hold hands around the fire pit and talk about the best recipe that is going to increase your business, align your team, attract your ideal customer, essentially make your sales pitch, I would say, irresistible. So I'm really glad that you're here. I definitely think we're waiting for a few more people to join. So if you are here, hello, Mary. Hello, Stuart. Welcome to the discussion. It's cool that you guys are on mute and not showing your camera. We'll ask you to take your cameras off later. We're just going to take a minute here and welcome folks as they're joining. It's only 4:02. Welcome, Rajesh. If you can see my screen, Stuart and Mary, just type in the comments. Can you see my screen? Type in OK. If you can see my screen, if you can see me, if you can hear me, that would be great. Perfect. So I'm also broadcasting on LinkedIn Live. So if there are folks there, just type in the comments on LinkedIn. Where are you coming in from? What state? And also type in the comments, really, what is your business? What type of business are you in? And really where you're coming in from. So go on and type that in the comments. Welcome, Mark. Michigan, Stuart, and Texas. So how are you in two places at once? Of course, these days, it's very possible to be in two places at once. Welcome, Stuart. So glad you're here. Mary, where are you coming in from today? Type in the comments. Arizona is in the house. Terrific. Good. So we're going to get started now. So we're going to get to this 5-part recipe that is really, it's kind of like a masterclass. It's kind of like things you can definitely take away from this session and act on them. So I'll be asking you, as you're participating today, at the end of this session, I'll be asking you, what is the one takeaway that you're going to actually implement in your messaging, your platform, your sales messaging platform, your marketing platform, whatever you want to call it. What are you going to implement in your story based on this 5-part recipe? So definitely feel free to take notes. Feel free to take screenshots. Want to make this a roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty session. So welcome if you're just joining. Hello, Anthony. Welcome, Stefan. Welcome. So please type in the comments, what state are you coming in from? And type in the comments, what is your business? What type of business are you in? Type that in the comments. That would be great to just check in here with you. So this isn't a podcast. This is a live discussion. So we are here together live. And I have to say, I really appreciate your time. This meme I came across, it is so funny. Like, what is that girl's tuba doing in that other girl's face? But this is how I see so much of marketing, which is make a bigger noise, broadcast louder, spend more money, get attention. But does it do anything? Type in the comments. Does it do anything? Yes or no? This type of marketing. Type in the comments. I'm just looking at comments here. Does this type of marketing do anything? Well, I don't think it does. I think the days of screaming louder about how great your solution is over. Let me put up a poll here on the screen here. Let's put this one. Who gets to say your solution is revolutionary? I think I dropped this on the screen here. Who gets to say your solution is innovative or revolutionary? Who really gets to say that? Your customers get to say that? Does your marketing team get to say that? I mean, after all, that's what you're paying them to do. I don't mean to beat down on marketing, but so much of marketing is done poorly where they're just talking about, I mean, even on your own website, do you actually see the words innovative, revolutionary up on your site, or breakthrough? So let me end the poll and share the results here. Share the results. So it looks like everyone has saying here that your customers are the only ones that can say that yet. If we're honest with each other, let's get honest here. Do you have any of this language, this sort of declaration language of how great, perfect, seamless, wonderful your product, your solution is in your sales deck, on your homepage? So if you do have that language, you're in the right place, because we're going to be talking about how to turn all of that around. And I'm going to give you the recipe. This is funny. Dave Gerhardt, a big fan of mine. I think he knows who I am as well. I'm not sure if he's a big fan of me, but he said a CEO wants two things from marketing: the story, what is the story, and revenue. I would agree 100%. This is a poll I put up on LinkedIn. What is your most important marketing asset that actually helps you win business? All of these things: your sales deck, your homepage, your demo, your lead magnet. So the point is, what is the message? What's the story? What is it coming down to? So if you're here, please type in the comments. Say, I'm here. What state are you in? And also, what business are you in? Type in the comments, what is the business that you are in? Welcome. Andrew O'Driscoll, I know what business you're in. Hello, Anthony E. We have, I think, Ed Sullivan's note taker here. So this is the future, folks, sending bots in our place to meetings to take notes and report back to us. I send bots to meetings all the time. Looks like Ed has sent a bot to this meeting. Should I dismiss Ed's bot? If you're not comfortable with Ed's bot, let me know. I'll dismiss the bot. Otherwise, we'll keep him here. So Rajesh, you're in CA Banking Transformation. That's the business you're in. California. Banking transformation. I like that. So transformation, Rajesh, really means that you're helping people transform. And we're going to be talking about how that is one of the 5 elements of a great recipe. And messaging that transformation is critical. You can't just say, oh, we transform you, or we transform. We're into digital transformation. You can't say that, because that doesn't mean anything. It's overused and people fall asleep at that kind of language. So we're going to be talking about that today. So welcome, Rajesh. Thank you for joining. Stefan Augustin, you're from Wisconsin. Augmented reality engagement. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to be talking about how to help you message that with a 5-part recipe. So welcome. So type in the comments here, who is your ideal customer? Who is your ideal customer? Now, you should know this, because if you say, well, our product is for everybody, everyone should use it, it's just wonderful, it's innovative, it's revolutionary, everybody should use it. I can guarantee you that nobody is buying your product, because nothing is for everybody. So Stefan, creative agencies and brands is your ideal customer. Fantastic. Maybe you can even specify that a little bit more. What kind of agency, size, shape, and form? I'm sure you've done work on that. So type that in the comments. Anyone else? Andrew O'Driscoll, companies using Gong. Absolutely. And there are a lot of companies. There are a ton of companies using Gong, and all of them need help. All of them need your help, Andrew, I would say. Anthony E., small business, 10 or below people, or startups. All small businesses, we're talking about like construction businesses or plumbing businesses. So be specific for me. Thank you. Rajesh, small and mid-sized financial institutions, mostly credit unions for now. Great. Thank you. So let me tell you who this 5-part recipe is for today. And thank you for joining. This is for CEOs, leaders of businesses who recognize that their marketing is not working anymore. And it is for CEOs, leaders of businesses that sense that, you know what, there's something in our story that just isn't resonating. You're in the right place. And this is for CEOs, leaders of businesses who are willing to make the changes to your current sales stack. Now, I use sales stack not to mean technology, but to mean messaging and story. That's the one thing you're asking for marketing, is story. That's what Dave Gerhardt is asking. And so that's what I'm calling it here. It could be a sales story. So this is for you. Now, I can say this is not for you. And, please drop off this meeting if you don't think this is for you. So if you're not the owner of the business, and this is not for you if you just want to put lipstick and make your slides look better, or your homepage, gradation in color. It's not about that kind of branding. I call that lipstick branding. And it's not for folks who can't or won't invest time and money into sales enablement. Now, I call buying enablement, sales enablement, whatever, the new marketing. And we're going to be talking about why that is, because where's that picture before I had here of the tuba girl? Where's my tuba girl? There she is. This is what's wrong with so much marketing right here, this meme. And that's why I'm calling the new marketing sales enablement or buying enablement. All right, so my promise to you, welcome if you just joined. Stefan, agencies, brands trying to help their clients increase customer engagement, conversion, also finding both with forward-thinking people. Great, I like how you tuned into the mindset of your ideal customer. If you're here on LinkedIn, type in the comments as well. Who is your ideal customer? As I describe my promise to you in this 45 minutes, we may go a little over. One, how to simplify your sales message, even if your solution is complicated, without losing what makes your solution unique. I'm going to be talking about how to facilitate unforgettable sales conversations, sales presentations, without spending a gazillion dollars on marketing or slides, how to stand out in a noisy market where there's so many businesses like cybersecurity. Oh my gosh, every cybersecurity company sounds the same. Have you found that to be true? Type in the comments. I'm not sure if there's anyone here in a cybersecurity space, but fierce competition there. How to create the most compelling business story, even if you don't have a full-time rock star CMO like Dave Gerhardt, by the way. I would say he is definitely a rock star CMO. How to attract ideal customers without wasting a ton of money on marketing. So that's my promise to you. So I'm glad you're here. If you're game for that, type in the comments, I'm game, and we'll get started. All right. So also, I'm imagining you can hear me. If you can see my screen, type that in the comments as well. I want to make sure this is broadcasting correctly. So have you read all these books? When I say all these books, some of these books, like Gap Selling. Speaking of Gap Selling, I'm going to play something in a moment from Keenan. Fantastic book. This is Marketing, Seth Godin. Fantastic, unbelievable book. Clarifies what you need to do. Building the Story Brand, Donald Miller, great book. If you read these books, I would say, have you read these books, but you really have, to be honest, failed to implement the concepts, the ideas directly on how your homepage looks or what your sales deck looks like or how your salespeople are conducting conversations. Do you see a gap there? Is there a gap, if you will, between what you know and what is actually happening? All right, so if so, you're in the right place. But before I do that, I want to do a little bit of yelling at you. So I'm not going to actually do the yelling. I'm going to have Keenan yell at you. So check it out. Keenan does a great job at yelling. I'm going to let him yell at you here.
Don't you know, like, how come you don't know? I said, how come you don't know that we don't offer 401k?
So he's talking about now where he was in a closing call where someone was pitching to him a HR plan for his business, all right? And he just hung up or ended the Zoom call.
Okay. You should know that, shouldn't you? And he goes, oh, well, I'm just really busy and I don't know everything. And I just forgot. I haven't had the time to write it down or something.
So that's the sales rep who was selling him.
Wait, what? It wasn't important. Like basically what he said was it's not important to him. He literally, we're at the last stage. He's trying to sell me his shit. And he doesn't even know if my company offers a 401k.
So this is huge. This is the problem with many sales decks, many sales processes. And the reason why they're that way, because they're all bad marketing.
No idea.
No idea.
He knows nothing about my company.
Nothing.
Yet he's trying to sell us shit. He's already.
Yeah. So look at your own sales process. Do you have slides that really don't facilitate a deep understanding of where your customers are at, what their goals, what their problems are, versus slides that are just pitching how breakthrough, innovative, perfect, awesome your product is? Let's be honest, folks. All right, let's be honest. Let's hear what Keenan has to say here.
He talked with us. He supposedly did a discovery. I'm so over it. I was like, I can't spend another second with you. He was flippant. Because I expected him to understand where we were as an organization today, what we offered, what we didn't offer, why we didn't, what we're trying to accomplish. He knew none of that shit.
All right. So that's enough of Keenan yelling at you. But here it is. Here's a slide deck. And if you're honest and look at your own slide decks, is it about broadcasting information and pushing ideas instead of having a conversation? So have you slides like this? You're in the right place. Have you been sending your presentation out, perhaps as an attachment in an email, and hearing nothing back? Have you been looking at how much has changed in the technology landscape in the last 20 years? And huge change, massive, like AI, hello. But if you look at the methodology or the way that you're selling, the way that you're presenting your story, that has not changed. You're in the right place. All right. If you're using language on your website that sounds like this, I'm going to put on my announcer voice. A software platform that drives transparent, data-driven decisions, blah, blah, blah. I mean, really? You actually think customers are reading this stuff? No, but you know this. But if we go to your site right now, we go to your homepage, we look at your sales deck, if the language that you're using sounds like this stuff, you're in the right place because you haven't taken what's in those books and applied it to your business. Here's another one. Let me shut the door in my office. Hold on a minute. Okay. Creating innovative workflow technologies that drive high reliability. What kind of stuff does that mean? WTF? Really? All right. Doesn't mean anything. So, what do you think resonates better? We're the best, or we make you better? Type in the comments. What do you think? What position, what voice should your marketing, your sales messaging take? Should it take the perspective that we're the best or we make you better? Those are two different roles in a story. Yeah, we make you better. And why does that resonate? Why do you think that's better, taking that approach instead of we're revolutionary, we're offering a breakthrough solution, an innovative, blah, blah, blah? Why does the we make you better resonate better? So type in the comments there. Love to get your thoughts. We're going to be talking about this. Have you been spending an inordinate amount of money on marketing, website design, and development, and not seeing the kind of return that you deserve? Do you have a sales process that is quite complicated, where every customer is unique, every value proposition is customized, deployment needs configuration, and every deal you could lose to, like, you know what, status quo, we'll keep doing the way we're doing things. You're thinking to yourself, how can our messaging be simple in this complicated environment? If this is what you're thinking, you're in the right place. If you've got people showing up to your Zoom meetings and they're still, after 20 minutes, not clear what you're selling, you're in the right place. If you secretly say to yourself, if they only knew what we're selling, it would be a no-brainer. If you're looking out at your competition and you're seeing them miles ahead, or they're really taking away deals from you, and like there's a little circle of a dude, really older dude, probably older than me, and I'm an older dude, and they're way out in front, and that their features and functions don't hold a candle to what you're offering, then you're in the right place to work on this recipe, this 5-part recipe. Have you got salespeople that are singing from different hymn sheets? And really, you wouldn't even think that they're even from the same company. The story is all over the place. You're in the right place. Or have you a pipeline that is increasing, yet closed deals perhaps flatlining or decreasing? You're in the right place. And I think the bigger question to be asking yourselves about now is, since you know what is in those books, you've read them, you know this. The bigger question is, what happens if nothing happens? Here we are, December 14th, 2022 is around the corner. What happens if nothing substantial changes in your sales messaging, your sales platform? When I say platform, I mean your stack, your sales presentation, your homepage, your story. So what happens? So the real problem here is that you probably haven't made these shifts, these perspective shifts, because this really takes work. It's not just as easy as reading a book. You really have to implement them. But once you make them, you will have 100% confidence in your marketing spend every dollar. You will double your close rate easily. And this is what we see from CEOs that implement this recipe. Your leadership and sales team will all be aligned in lockstep. Your Zoom meetings will be unforgettable. Your customers will never forget them. And you will retap the joy of why you started doing the business that you're in the first place. So If you guys are still here, type in the comments that you're still here. And I'm going to be just before I get into the 5-part recipe, I'm going to say a little bit about who I am. So I started actually selling enterprise software. We're talking 7-figure deals that would take like 9 months to close with like 14 people at companies like Apple and Texas Instruments. And these were multi-threaded deals, very complex. And the sales decks that I got from marketing were just letting me down, letting my team down. We just couldn't even use them. You know, the ones, slides like Keenan was talking about with logos and who we are, and almost like you're pitching to investors. That's not a sales deck. That is a pitch to investors. Anyway, being frustrated with that, I started designing my own sales decks, and they were winning. And I started doing this as a side hustle, then created Pitch Kitchen, and the rest is history. Doing, I guess, 2,000 plus sales presentations, and I would say a lot of homepages in the hundreds. No, I'd say in the tens. And when I say homepages, I really mean websites, because people aren't really visiting your website. By the way, they're going to your homepage and either doing something or not doing something. Let's be honest, and let's look at the weblogs if you don't believe me. So it's about the story you're telling on your homepage. And I've also trained, and we've trained about 500 salespeople in these companies to better use the 12 conversation method and a better story that enrolls their customer in a story of transformation, which we're going to be talking about today. So those star ratings, like an Uber driver you see on your screen, that's actually a function of LinkedIn right now, where you can actually give people and businesses a star rating. If you didn't know, now you know. It's so cool. So I'm privileged and honored to receive some star ratings from CEOs who have adopted this 5-part recipe. So a little bit about me. That's my daughter, Grace. So I am an old guy with a very young child. My baby boy, Henry, was born 4 months ago. That's my daughter, Grace. And that's my wife, Paulina, who, yes, is a little bit younger than me. And my son, Noah, who's also in college. So that's who I am. Just wanted you to know we live in a post-COVID world, and it's important to know that we're all talking to people now. It's not just brands or bots. Even though I still think we got Ed's note taker here in the room. Ed's note taker. Ed sent his bot in his place. That's just fantastic. So anyway, let's get started here. The first of the 5-part recipe that I would say all CEOs that really kill it and really double their business, they are leading a rebellion. And so what do I mean by that? Leading a rebellion. So think about what you are rebelling against. If you're selling an innovation, you're rebelling against something. Type in the comments. If you're selling a service or solution that your customers really love, they love it because it's helping them get better, to be better. And so what are you rebelling against? Type in the comments, what are you rebelling against in your industry that leads your customers from the state that they're in to a better state? And so if you look at the first aspect, the first part of the recipe that these CEOs use, they are leading a rebellion. And so welcome if you're just getting in here. Every great CEO espouses a contrarian ideology. I mean, look at what Mark Benioff did years ago with Salesforce.com. It was, attacking software, the end of software. There was a rebellion against that. It was acting like he was selling the cloud, but maybe he was selling a part of the cloud. That's what Salesforce is. So if you sell an innovation, I would say that you need to decide what you stand for and what that rebellion is all about. So type in the comments, Anthony E., you're rebelling against mediocrity. Looks like Rajesh, you're rebelling against a legacy mindset. Cool, I love that. So in order to stand out, we have to know what we stand for. Simon Sinek, I'm a big fan for sure. Udi from Gong, being polarizing is great for business. And there's data to back this up. Do you stand for something that is helping your clients rebel against, Anthony, mediocrity? Do you sell something, Rajesh, that helps your clients rebel, your customers rebel against a legacy mindset? So think about what you're selling. you're not selling a noun, a thing. You're selling a verb. You're selling a thing or that does something. Your customers aren't really buying your solution. They're buying the outcomes that your solution provides to get them from where they are today to where they want to go. You know this. So what are the 3 or 4 words that is you're using right now on your homepage, in your conversations? What are the 3 or 4 or 5 words that you're using to tell that story of rebellion, to call your people to action, to be better? What's your just do it story? Hashtag. Do you even have a hashtag? So I believe every business should have a hashtag. And I take this from Dr. Michelle Mazur, fabulous, a person, and she's a doctor in communication, wrote the book, The 3-Word Rebellion, recommended reading. And I agree that if you could put in a few words what your call, what your battle cry, what you're leading a rebellion against, then that aligns your team, calls your ideal customers to action, and gets them to be curious about how the hell are you going to help them get there from where they are today to where they want to go, or how they're doing things today to how they want to be doing things. So if you type in the comments, do you know what your hashtag is? And if you're using a hashtag, type it in the comments. So look at some of these. I mean, those 4 words, make America great again, whether you love or hate Donald Trump, as a marketer, those words got him elected president. Trust your source is from the Wall Street Journal. Trust your source. It starts with a verb, calls people to appreciate that knowledge is power, and you better know where you're getting your information from. So again, these are just do it from Nike. Patience before paper. It's an aspiration. One of our clients has that one. So type in the comments. Chris Oshiro, not yet. Thank you for being honest, but I want analytics at scale. It's funny you say that because today I was talking to a customer and they're thinking about success at scale. So analytics at scale is good because you're not really sure who wants analytics at scale. Is it your customer wants that? Is that the thing that you're providing? Is that the thing that you're good at? It's kind of ambiguous. So not bad. Actually, that's a pretty good one. Well done. So Andy Raskin, you can follow him on LinkedIn. He has put forth a really clear way of 2 types of positioning. And this is hard to do, by the way. But relative positioning, he says, is where you contrast what you do, what your solution is, as being better than the other guys. It's just better. And that's like the Gartner quadrant up there in the upper right. Discrete positioning is where you basically say, you know what? All those other companies are helping you play a game that no longer is relevant. The world has changed. Look at these stats. And if the companies that are winning are playing this new game, and by the way, our product, our solution helps confer advantage to those companies that are playing that game. Do you believe that this is the game you need to be playing? This is an excellent way to help you create a category of one and also be a rebel, a rebellious leader to bring your customers to that place. So I would say this is not right for everybody. Sometimes you just have to sell a better minivan, okay? And versus a completely different category. I think like there's a place in San Francisco that sells, I think taco, is a burrito sushi. So they combine sushi and burritos. Anyway, so category of one. So the promised land, and this is still about leading rebellion. If you're leading a rebellion, leading your customers to a place where they want to go, where are you trying to take them to? What is that name of that place? So it usually is 2 words, by the way. I think Gong calls it conversational intelligence. That's the place they get. They get intelligence around conversations. So if you wanted to put in the comments, what are the 2 words that describes the place that you are taking your customers? Type in the comments if you want, what's your rally cry in 3 or 4 words? So if you're leading rebellion, it can't be, here's my dissertation. It needs to be in just a couple words. What is the promised land that you're taking people to, and what is your battle cry? So the contrast that you want to draw is, what does the world look like uh, doing the status quo, doing things the old way, and what does the world look like doing things the new way? And clearly, it would probably be using your solution, but it's not your solution that you're showing, it's the outcomes that your solution provides. If that makes sense, type in the comments, makes sense. So here's an example of the outcomes of the current world on the left and the outcomes of the new world on the right, with the solution that helps confer that advantage. If that makes sense, type in makes sense. Thank you. All right, I'm going to launch a poll here just to take a quick break. What is your homepage in love with? Be honest. What is your homepage in love with? Is it in love with your solution? I mean, thank you for being honest, by the way. Or is it in love with your customer's problem? And what does love got to do with it? So be honest. And so, too many sites that are in love with their own solution. When I say sites, I mean homepages and websites. Let me just share the results here. Yeah, I think many of you were honest today. Yeah. So your homepage can't be in love with your solution. It has to be in love with the problem that you're solving. So here's an example: Medicine X, make your patients partners, because this speaks to the problem that Medicine X's customers have, that their patients are not partners. And Medicine X helps them get that partnership. Notice as well, book your strategy session. It's not a call to action that's like really shitty, like learn more or get started, which doesn't call people to do anything. But we'll look at some examples of buttons that actually are very specific, like here, like on the left side, learn more, get started. On the right side, very specific, what the benefit is, what the outcome is. Get your impact assessment or get expert recommendations. Those are valuable things that people want, your customers want. For example, I don't know what your customers want, but they don't want to learn more. They don't want to get started. They have no idea nobody's clicking on learn more, get started. Not even Google. Right. So we're talking about the call to action there. So just real quick, Kimberly Tableman, CEO of Medicine X, before leading a team of 12, could not differentiate between what they were offering and their competitors were offering, failing to book new conversations. Their customers, prospects had no idea really what the value is, what the outcomes they'd get, missing sales targets, and honestly, just embarrassed by their homepage. After make your patients partners, it's a really good call to action. Confident about the story and the marketing they're using, positioned as the leader in the space, and closing on a lot of big opportunities. So if that makes sense, we talked about leading with rebellion. Let's get on to 2 and type in the comments, makes sense, if you guys are still with me. And by the way, we are going to take you off of mute because this is like a workshop, and you can hear my baby crying in the other room, by the way. We'll take you off of mute at the end of this session to get what is the one thing that you'd like to take away and run with in your sales platform. All right, so number 2, start with the problem. So gosh, this is great. This is absolutely something you need to be doing. It's a shift. If you can describe their problem, welcome to New York, by the way. If you can describe their problem better than they can describe it themselves, I know like a doctor can, a really good doctor, you'll automatically believe that they have the best solution. And this is a way to really, I would say, ensnare and capture your customer, your prospects, because let's call a spade here. Let's call it out. Your customers, your prospects, they don't. This is not a knock, but they don't really care about you or your company or your product or your grandfather who started the company or whatever, or your fancy pants AI solution. What do they care about? Type in the comments, what do they care about? And while you're typing in that, here's an example of a website that starts with the solution, not with the problem. Creating innovative workflow technologies that drive high reliability. That's all solution. Nobody cares. Yes, nobody cares. So this is a website on the other side that starts with the problem. Messaging, patience before paper. It speaks to ReadyWorks' ideal customer, CISO of a hospital, who recognizes that their nurses and doctors are just wasting time pushing papers instead of taking time with patients. And look at the call to action here. It says, get your paper impact assessment. That's such a good call to action for their ideal customer instead of learn more or get a demo or click here or get started. Oh my gosh. I don't know who started those buttons, but really think about what the call to action, the first step that your customers need to take in order for them to be successful. What is that first step? That should be your button on your homepage. Just saying. Smart hospitals use smart forms. Yes, this is a statement from the guide to the hero that basically calls it out to say, you know what, if you want to be a smart hospital, you got to use smart forms. And put patience before paper, by the way, so you can see how messaging works. This is an example of a slide that EquipX uses. And it's a slide that calls out the current state that their customers are at. And a conversation about their current state, remember Keenan was like yelling and screaming at us, is because he had a salesperson showing up to the freaking call without really understanding the current world that Keenan's business was in. And he fired them immediately. So taking time and having a slide, imagine a slide where you're basically feeding back the clarity that you understand the problems that typical customers have. This does so much more than a flashy 100 logo slide of your credibility by describing the challenges and the problems your customers has and inviting them into a conversation about, are any of these challenges yours? By the way, which one is the most challenging for you? And someone might say none of them, in which case you're not even in the right room, uh, really. But hopefully they'll say all of them or just a majority. This is a slide in your deck that goes over your understanding of not just the problems in the industry, the goals in the industry, what they're trying to accomplish, but also the current state that your customer is in. Keenan, before, he was talking about how the sales rep didn't even know that they had no 401k plan. And yet that was the closing call. Like there was already 3 or 4 meetings into this. So for your sales reps to have a slide that feeds back their understanding of the current state that their customers are in is huge. And notice these are 2 of 12 conversations that need to be in your sales deck. And I just wanted to show them to you. So that was all about starting with the problem. The other side of problem is goals. But if you think about it, a lot of people who are saying, we know our customers' problems. They want to lower cost. Guess what? That's not starting with the problem. That's starting with a goal. That's starting with a solution. Starting with the problem is the shit is costing too much and it's intolerable. That's starting with the problem. All right. So if that makes sense, type in the comments, makes sense. All right. So it looks like John joined. Hello, welcome, John. Hey, Frank, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Type in the comments here what business you guys are in and what state are you in. I say state, not emotional state, but physical state or city. All right. The third part of this recipe is to use what we call a secret weapon. And it's a breakthrough sales story or breakthrough sales stack. I think sales stack is confusing. I think it's just technology, but it's not. And it's because solution-centric marketing just doesn't work anymore. But the companies that use a breakthrough sales story is sales messaging that calls your ideal customer to the change that they already want, hence that rebellion resonating. A homepage that makes your customer the hero of the story. So it's a homepage that's not in love with the solution, but it's a homepage that's in love with the problem that you're solving. And the sales decks that you're using is a choose your own adventure conversational guide that facilitates collaboration. And you can tell right away by looking at a sales deck if it's the old way or if it's the new way. So if your sales deck has like 20 plus slides, page numbers in the corner, white backgrounds, and one slide with 8 bullets, I can tell you it's not a presentation. It's not a presentation. It is speaker's notes. It's a proposal designed for a world that doesn't exist anymore, maybe for printing. The new way to show up with a presentation is it's a conversational guide that you can go anywhere, and you need to go anywhere. You need to go anywhere based on what your customers are talking about, and it's visual. And it has 8 slides with one message on each slide because it is a presentation. It's not a bunch of speaker's notes. And a presentation today really should be a conversation. It should not be slides. And a lot of salespeople are not comfortable with this, but you need to be comfortable with this. And I think they're not comfortable with this because their homepage doesn't do the job it should, because they're having to convey so much information in a sales deck, and they shouldn't have to do that. They should use that valuable time they have with customers to actually build a solution together. Slides that are telling instead of asking are the old world of slides. Slides and your presentation needs to be a collaboration. And if you really, and I've examined, I would literally thousands of sales presentations, and I can tell you that the best presentations are literally 3 parts. And in each part, there's a set of conversations that happen. And it's like a recipe in a certain order. You can't just have an outcomes conversation before you have a conversation about current state. You can't run into a demo and say, let me just show you 101 features, because that's going to lead to a pipeline of deals that never close. You only show the 3 features that you learn will have the biggest outcome for that particular customer. And you learn those 3 features from a discussion of 1.3. So these are what I call the 12 essential conversations that every change requires, because that's what a salesperson is, or a change agent, and you're helping your customers change. So your company, the old way of talking about your company was that you're the hero of the story, but you're not. You're the helper of the hero. Your old marketing is using jargon and buzzwords, telling a story about how great your solution is. We're the best. The new way is focusing on verbs, action, and visuals, visual storytelling, telling a story about not your product, but about how great your customer can be and what outcomes they will get from your product. You're selling outcomes, results, not your product. You're selling a verb, not a noun, I like to say. So your homepage, look in the left side, it's all about us. Right side, it's about them. It should be a place that's comforting for them because you're empathizing with where they are today and making it so clear to them how what you're offering is going to help them get there. You need to get a "that's right" from them, whether they say it in their heads when they go to your homepage, or they say it outright when they're in a demo or in a discovery discussion. Chris Voss wrote the book, great book, Never Split the Difference, How to Negotiate Like If Your Life Depends on It. You definitely want to get a "that's right." And you get "that's right" by starting with the problem. You understand me. You get it. That's right. So in the old ways, you're leading with a conversation about the thing that you're selling. The new way is a conversation about their problem. So what I mean by lead with, you're leading with it in your sales presentation, on your homepage, in your messaging. That is what's going to bring your ideal customers into the fold. And you'll start off your sales demos, your sales conversations way down the field. So this is what a breakthrough sales stack is. And that is what I think is the third part of the 5-part recipe. Look at this before scenario. Frank, first of all, welcome, Frank. You're rebelling against the DIYs, the do-it-yourself building websites for small, medium-sized businesses, and we are based in Tennessee. Thank you. That's great. So AI, human interaction. Like, how many sites have you seen like this? Like, innovation and excellence. We encourage, I mean, come on. Innovation and the discovery. Nobody reads this stuff. Look at this picture too. Like, what is a brain with computer like chips? Like, computer chips don't even look like that. There's nothing good about this. Nothing. Yet, how many of our B2B websites, when I say our, I'm talking about the whole human B2B species here, are have sites like this. So look at the after here. This is the outcomes. This is like the thing they're selling. They're selling AI human interaction, but really what they're selling is giving doctors superpowers by bringing emotional artificial intelligence to patient encounters. How cool is that? Much better website, very powerful image, very powerful image. And look at the button, invest in the future of telemedicine. So it's a clear call to action. It's not learn more. Every time I see a learn more button, if I had if I had a penny for every learn more button on the internet, I would be a rich man. Anyways, even the logo is better than it was on the other side. I mean, just clear. It's about emotion and recognition of emotions that computers provide. And you'll see there, turn virtual patient checkups into deeply insightful encounters. That speaks to the transformation. So speaking of transformation, let's go to the fourth part of the 5-part recipe. And this is what we call sharpen your story. So if this is making sense so far, type in the comments, makes sense, just so I know I haven't lost you. I'm moving pretty fast. So involve yourself in your customer story. So who are you in the story of your business? Who are you? Are you the hero, the guide, the victim, the villain, the comedic sidekick, uh, the ally? What's your role in the story of your business? Type in the comments if you know what your role is in the story. And if you think about it, we're all heroes in our own lives. But if you're selling something to somebody who's the hero, guess what? In their lives, to help their organization get better, be better. So you really should be positioning who you are as the trusted guide in the story. You're the Rafiki, you're the Yoda, you're the Mary Poppins in that. And Donald Miller and StoryBrand has really clarified this in a beautiful way, saying, look, every story from any movie out there ever, something happens in the world, all right, causes somebody in the world, the hero of the story, to have a problem. Big impact. If they don't fix that problem, bad shit happens. Along comes an Obi-Wan or a guide or a Mary Poppins, whatever, where they provide them with a thing, a magic wand, a lightsaber, or something and a plan of how they need to use it in order for them to kill the bad guy, slay the dragon, disarm the nuclear weapon, get the girl, whatever, that leads them to transforming to who they want to be in the world and to success. This is a great story. Now, your customers are really living this story. They want your innovation, and your innovation is sold by the guide here to help them get there to that transformation. I think you said that before, Rajesh. You're selling transformation. You were the guide in the story. So what's more important for your homepage and actually getting customers? It's messaging. It's not design. Design is hugely important, but it's not the most important. Biggest threat to sales? Distraction, for sure. So it's not the best product or solution that wins. It is the clearest story. And are you telling a clear story, or are you not? The sharpen your story is really this element here. So if you look at your homepage, what story are you telling on your homepage? I can tell you that a great homepage has about 10 elements. It's not just one thing. There's 10 elements that guide your customer through their story of transformation, who they are today, what they are doing today, how they're doing things today, your understanding of that current state, and projecting where they want to go, how they want to be doing things. And so their aspiration has to be way there on the top of the homepage, the just do it kind of thing. Underneath that, you need to have a clear depiction of their problem. You need to, underneath that, show like what's your credibility in solving that problem. Again, we're talking about the hero's journey. They're going to want to know, what kind of wars have you fought to come up with your solution? They're going to want to know, well, what is your magic wand, your fancy pants AI thingy-majob? What is that? How does it work? What does it do? They want to know, like, what's the social proof? Are there happy people running around the planet happier and better off because they used your thing? And suppose they like their thing, what's the plan to help you get from help them get from where they are today, not using your solution, stuck in the old way? What's the plan that they can clearly see, and not a 19-step plan, but a 3 or 4-step plan that helps them get from where they are to where they want to go? And what are these lead generators that you're getting? If they're not ready to, quote, learn more or get a demo, or even at best get an impact assessment conversation, but maybe they just want to download the top 5 ways they could reduce their whatever, reduce their spend. That will get them leads, get you leads. You need that on your homepage. And of course, a contact form and a drift kind of chat I'd recommend. These are the top 10 elements of a highly converting homepage. I would say if there's one thing you can do by January 1, 2022, is relook at your homepage and make sure it has these sections and build them. So real quick, if that makes sense, type in the comments, makes sense. Jordan, CEO of ReadyWorks, by the way, he adopted all 5 of these recipes, these recipe pieces. But before he did, his prospects were way confused. Look at the logo there that they were using. It's like a gear. What are you selling? Machinery or tires? Total massive confusion about what they were buying. Revenue is critical, wasn't getting it. But after he implemented this 5-part recipe, the narrative got better discovery, meaning that he had prospects showing up to the demos and to the discussions already clear about what the outcomes they would get. And this, by the way, is an example. That's actually the ReadyWorks Health website. Patients before paper, get your paper impact assessment. You can see how it starts with the problem and speaks about the transformation. Much, much better. All right, number 5, and we're going to take you off of mute, and I appreciate your time and patience. We're going to ask you to come off of mute in a minute and say what is the one thing that you got from this session that you're going to actually implement in your business. And here's a poll on the screen, by the way. Who or what is the biggest challenge to crushing your 2022 goal? There's a missing an L there, but I think you know what I mean. It looks like some of you, there's nothing standing in your way, and I love to hear that. Go like rock stars. Unclear sales and marketing message, competition could be standing in your way, or other priorities. Let me end the poll and share results. All right, unclear sales messaging is a little bit ahead of nothing standing in my way. Well, that's great. So if you're here and you're getting confirmation that you're doing all those things, you're leading rebellion, you are starting with the problem, and you're using the secret weapon, which is really an integration of your sales story platform, and your story is sharp. And I would say the last step is you're investing in expert help, outside expert help. Because I would say that the story isn't marketing. The story is essentially your business. It is why you exist. It's your story, which is the thing. It's not putting lipstick on your story. It is your business. It is your strategy. I think Andy Raskin calls what you're doing, well, if it's done right, your strategic narrative is your business. That's really what you're doing. And it's probably why you want to be in the business in the first place, is because you're doing this thing that's helping your customers be better, to thrive, and not just survive. And I think when you invest in outside expert help, you're getting see things from outside the bottle, because it's kind of hard to see the label when you're steeped in how the ingredients of your own solution. So I would say having an outsider engage with you and your team in the story development process is the process of alignment, because it gets people that you're relying on to grow your business to be a part of the messaging development. So instead of paying a marketer to go on the mountaintop and come down with the 10 or 15 commandments, you're actually taking the intelligence and the insights that your rock star salespeople have, and bringing those insights to the forefront and getting those insights in your messaging. And they're going to love it. 1, because they're going to use it. 2, they're going to feel involved. And 3, they're going to close more deals because of it. So it's super huge. So I'd say don't hire a marketer, hire a buying enabler. It says sales enabler, but I could use those interchangeably because sales is meaningless without a buyer. I think that makes sense to you, I would hope. So this is a before, by the way. So the EquipX maximizes the profitability of expensive clinical equipment assets. Download overview. Your life will never be the same. But I can tell you this didn't work because it was solution first. It wasn't problem first. This works. This is getting them to close deals, reduce your fleet costs, bring strategic equipment management to your health system. And there you can see at the bottom speaks to that transformation story. Turn your underutilized equipment into an optimized health system. That's the transformation. That's the turn. And that's what your customers are looking for. They're looking to change. They're looking to get better, get more efficient, to reduce cost, to improve quality. If you're selling solutions to them, that's what they want. So this is an example of a slide from ReadyWorks, and this is a choose your own adventure kind of slide where the sales rep would say, these are the 5 elements of the platform. Which outcome would make the most difference to you in Q1? So you see what I did there? We basically help them with a presentation that helps them close deals because it focuses on the outcomes that very specific individualized customers need in the sales process. If that makes sense, type in the comments, makes sense. This is a huge, if you got one thing out of this webinar, I would hope it would be this. That's all right. So today I promised how to simplify your message, how to facilitate unforgettable sales conversations, how to stand out in a noisy market, create the most compelling business story, create a category of one to attract your ideal customers without wasting money on marketing by using this 5-part recipe. So I'd like to take you guys off of mute now and just share what is the one thing that you're going to make changes to now, or you keep happy with what you got, and are you ready to crush 2022? Who would like to jump in?
I'll go first. This is Rajesh here.
Hey, Rajesh, how's it going?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Sure.
For me, it's clearly, it's not about us, it's about them, right? That's what the takeaway. How do we make it about them, about the customers, rather than how good we are? I think we got lost in the telling our story and why is it not resonating, but not really looking at how.
Well, I want to thank you for being honest. You know, it's that you can't change something unless you first call it out and see it, right? So that's compliments.
Thank you.
So so now that you know that, what changes are you going to make? Is there any specific changes?
Yeah, we are. I think what we are talking, we are currently in the process of doing that similar changes. That's a thought process on how do we flip this around and make it something that is telling their story. So that's
okay.
What we're planning to change that.
All right. Well, great. Well, good luck with that. Thank you, Rajesh. Would anyone else like to come off of mute or jump on here and say what is the one takeaway from this session that you want to implement before 2022?
Yeah. Hey, Greg, John Samarco. I mean, we're definitely looking to retool our website, our corporate website, and this is my second time in your session here, and it's been reverberating in my head since the first time I went through this. And I got to tell you, you've become a household name with our team. But the thing here is, we don't want to. We've done some changes to our messaging, but we haven't put it out on the website yet. But at the end of the day, I feel like we need an outside view on it, because you know how it can be when you just, everybody that's so close to it lives it every day. They're not the best people to write the content or to, validate that the message is going to resonate. So, I'll follow up with you, because I think we could benefit from
Great.
From your perspective or your team's perspective.
Great. I hope you're down for a good old-fashioned rebellion, by the way, because, if you're selling something that really, what are you selling, by the way?
Well, we're selling our decision platform that we use to build consensus and solve complex problems. And we have different potential buyers, right? Sometimes it's VPs and consulting businesses. Sometimes it's contracting officers, and it's hard to message to various, to multiple stakeholders or multiple buyers, because they all have a little bit different pain points. And so that's another challenge on a website. Do we make it so that, if depending on their role, we can speak to them more clearly, or do we homogenize it and try to, make it so that it kind of speaks to?
Yeah, no, I got a great answer for that. It's going to save you a ton of money, by the way. Too much money, I think, is wasted on personas in marketing that do absolutely nothing for sales. Speaking from experience here, so I got good news around that. I'll share with you when we talk. But thank you. Great. Looking forward to catching up. Anyone else here in the couple minutes that we have would like to chime in? What's the one thing that you want to implement for your business come 2022, which is like a few weeks away? Come on, I'm here. Kill me now. That's my best Arnold, by the way. What movie was that from? That was what movie was that from, real quick? That was Predator, right? Predator. Anyway, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, Stefan from Reality Blue. Just wanted to say thanks. This has been great. We definitely want to take a look at what we can do on our homepage to be less centric about our product and more about solutions.
Yeah.
We've been making those changes over the last few months as well. Our biggest challenge typically is getting people to not only just find the problem, but we're trying to help them realize there's a new technology out there it may be solving a problem that they don't even know that they have yet.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that, Stefan, because the reality is that you probably know more about their problems than they do, right? And what happens? Yeah. You probably also know what happens if they don't fix their problem, right? And
and I love the idea of the sales deck about making it more fluid, more of a choose your own adventure, which we use that terminology all the time.
Yeah.
But it's about not necessarily just going down the standard path and talking about us. It's really more about trying to find where their problems are and figure out where our solution fits with those problems.
No, that's great. No, you'll get so much better results from a problem-centric conversation. And just a word of caution, make sure you have a filter in your brain when when you say, well, what's the problem that we solve? Say, oh, we reduce costs, or we make things go faster, or like, just have that filter. Those aren't problems. What are those? Those are goals, right?
Yeah.
So it's so easy to confuse goals with problems, but it's so important. It's night and day difference when you're actually presenting on problems, your clarity of understanding problems. Because I find that in my sales experience, customers don't actually buy your solution until they're living with their problem is no longer tenable. Living with their problem is no longer something they could live with another week or month or year. It's just costing them too much. It's taking too much time. And it's through the discussion of their current state problem that gets them to realize that, versus showing them all the fancy aspects of your solution that it's hard for them to imagine. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, totally. We've been talking about, how we make the solution something they can't live without.
Yeah, that's great. How they can't live without it. That's it. So thank you so much. Thank you. And I look forward to learning more about what you do and what your decision platform, by the way, that sounds super cool. And I think that's needed now more than ever, when we're living in a world where everyone's working from remotely in different places. And if you have a tool that helps people in large organizations get to decisions faster, that's brilliant. All right. Well, looks like he dropped off. Would anyone else like to hop on and just say, what is the one thing that you got from this?
I'm here. Thank you for saying that.
Oh, sure. Sure. I heard some background noise. So thank you. So actually, I don't know if anyone saw Disney Plus. There's a documentary called Rescue, where it's the story about those 14 soccer kids that were trapped in a cave in Thailand. And it was like day 15, they hadn't eaten, and they knew they were down there, but they couldn't figure out how to get them out. And these two English dudes who had the experience to save these kids, and they the Thai government wouldn't let them do it. But it was only until these two guys actually on a whiteboard very specifically laid out the plan of how they were going to do this and get them out that the Thai government gave them the go-ahead. And the reason why that was such an aha moment for me, because part of your story has to be the clarity of the plan. It can't just be, look at all that what the software can do. It can't just be, are you okay living with your problem? Because if the plan isn't clear, lucid for you and for them, how they're going to get there, then you're going to lose a sale. They're just not going to move forward. So anyway, I'd recommend you watch that movie, by the way. I think it's the best feel-good documentary of 2021. So we're going to wrap up here in just a minute. I love this conversation. It's so cool to be here with you, that you're here with me. That's my baby Henry crying in the background, as you can hear. Would anyone else like to chime in to say one thing you're going to improve in your sales platform, your sales stack, your sales story? Anyone? All right. Well, that is a wrap. I want to thank Stefan, Stuart, Rajesh, John, Frank, Andrew, and even Ed's note taker, the robot that was here the whole while, who's transcribing my words. Thank God for AI is coming into the world and showing up for us in meetings. So that's for you, Ed. With that, I'm signing off. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with me today. Hope you got some value.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Sure thing.